Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
everyone. So, I'm probably wondering, you guys are tired, right? This is the last session of the last day, but hopefully we can end it on a high note. My name is João Araújo. I'm here with Joana Tavares, and we are here to talk to you about how to leverage generative AI in your OutSystems applications.
Yes, that's why we are here today, to share our journey with you guys. But let me challenge you a bit. Please close your eyes for a moment and let's do a quick imagination exercise. Please close your eyes, guys. You can trust me. I'm quite far away. I'm not going there. Maybe. João, you too, please.
Okay.
Close your eyes. I can see some eyes open, please. Collaborate with me. Make this easy for me, because it's not. Okay, okay. Now, imagine a girl technically leading a customer support OutSystems application. It is a Monday morning with a brilliant sunshine outside. She is in a Zoom call with the whole management group when the big boss, Tiago, just dropped a bombshell. The next 4 weeks, it's all about diving deep into this new AI world, understanding how this new technology can impact our present, reshape our future. Can you feel this girl pain? Can you see her face? Can you feel her panic? You can open your eyes now. I could feel all of that, because that girl was me back in June. I was in that meeting, and I'm here today with you, João, and you share the same feelings.
Yes, so the Friday before your meeting, your Monday meeting, I went to my email at night. I don't recommend anyone doing this, okay? Don't go to your email on a Friday night. And I saw that we had a message from our CIO, Tiago. And basically, the message says, okay, now, Joana, João, on the next 4 weeks, you will be leading a team to implement generative AI in our OutSystems applications. That was my weekend. I was nervous. I was anxious. I didn't know anything about AI. I just have used ChatGPT like once or twice. I didn't know where to start. So after your call, you called me, and we share our nervousness together, right?
Yeah, I shared my panic with you. We are here today, guys. We have shared a lot of panic together, but we are here. And we have a super interesting message to give to you today.
Yes, and the message is, it's really easy and fast to do this without systems. Remember, we didn't know anything about AI when we started. After 4 weeks, we implemented 2 solutions into production, and now we are here on the one conference, right? So pretty good progress. So thank you. So our goal for today, for this session, is to share with you our experience, and maybe our learnings will serve for you if you are wondering on implementing AI in your applications. So hopefully at the end of the session, you will feel inspired to do the same in all of your organizations.
Back in June, I remember that our first question is probably your first question. What is generative AI?
Yes, what is generative AI? So AI has been around for quite some time, as many of you may know, but this new wave of generative AI is quite different. And it's different because at the heart of it lies the large language models. These large language models, or LLMs, are deep learning algorithms that can summarize, recognize, extract, predict, and generate text. But the cool part of it is that they do this by using natural language. Like when you are interacting with a model, it's like you are talking with someone.
Like we are talking with each other right
Exactly.
now. Now we know what is generative AI, but we need to understand how can you use it?
Yes, there are 3 ways that you can use LLMs. You can use pre-trained models like ChatGPT-4, ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo, or even Claude 2 or others. You can fine-tune the models. This means that you can get structured data like question and answer, feed that data to the model, and the model will use that data to generate an answer that is more specific to the context of the data. And finally, you can train models, basically create a model from scratch. This requires a lot of effort, especially from data scientists and a lot of data from your company.
In our use case, we have been using pre-trained models, especially ChatGPT 3.5, not ChatGPT, GPT 3.5, sorry. And these kind of models have a knowledge limitation because they only have access to public information until September 2021.
Exactly.
And we needed to find a way to overcome this reality.
Yes, and the way that we found is by a technique called grounding. Basically, grounding is when you take a foundation model, like ChatGPT 3.5, you add your own data, and you get a customized model that is specific to the use case of the data that you provided. So basically, this is a grounding technique.
Like a math equation, right?
Yes,
João?
exactly.
Now we know how we can overcome the knowledge limitation, but we need to understand how can you interact with models.
So interacting with the models, you do that by using prompts. Prompts is the message that you send to the model and is where you can send your context to the model so the model can use that context to provide you with an accurate answer regarding that context.
And now you might be thinking, okay, I can grab all public information till from 2021 till 2023, and we'll feed all into the prompt.
That's not quite it, because there's some technical limitations here. So each model has its limitations called token limitations. And token is the way that the models deconstruct words. So a word can be multiple tokens. It's not mapping one word, one token. And different models have different limitations. And actually, it's not a good practice to provide the model with information that is not needed. You want the model to be specific on the answer he's giving, so give specific context.
The question now is, how can you be more specific in the context that you give in the prompt?
That's the last piece of the puzzle. So you can do that by using what's called embeddings and a vector database. Basically, embeddings is when you get data, and then you convert that data, in our case text, and you convert it into vectors. Those vectors have syntactical and semantical meaning. You can then store those vectors in a vector database. So the closest the vectors are, the more meaningful they are from each other. For example, if you have two words like canine and dog, those are two pretty different words, right? But they are the same, they have the same meaning, so they will be close to each other on the vector database.
Yes, and now that we know a lot of things about vector database, and really interesting things actually, we need to understand how can we put all these pieces together. João just mentioned puzzles. I don't like that much, but we have a pretty nice name to all of this technique.
Yes, the technique that we are mentioning is retrieval augmented generation. This is a grounding technique, and let me go quickly through this diagram. So at the top, you have a user question. You take that question and you pass it through the embedding process. You get that vector, and you then can query your vector database. In our case, we use a vector database called Pinecone. Then, on the vector database, you can query the nearest vectors from the user question. Those vectors will be your context. You can provide that context through the prompt, send it to the model, and the model will generate an answer with that context in mind.
A quite straightforward puzzle right now. And me and João, we would like to understand how many of you are nowadays working with this RAG technique in your OutSystems application. Please raise your hands.
Okay. I see some of you already are doing this. This is super cool. And I think that now that we went through all these learnings, most of you may be wondering, okay, how do I apply these learnings in a practical sense?
Yes, that's now what we want to share with you guys, our journey. So let's start with the 4 practical applications that ended up appearing in the end of that famous meeting. And because of 4 weeks ended up being a short time to learn all about this new world, we ended up focused on the deflection one.
Okay, Joanna, can you explain me and the audience what is deflection?
Sure. In a nutshell, deflection is when you self-servicing your customer with the right question, with the right answer. So there is no need for open a support ticket.
Okay, so the goal would be to have the AI generating an answer for the customer?
That's it, João. This is our final goal. But we did a really interesting twist. We are now using our agents to give us feedback about the accuracy of the AI replies, because this is a new world for us. We didn't know about how the model would perform, so we used agents to give us feedback about the replies.
Okay, so the agents are now have the goal to evaluate the answer of the AI and give feedback about it. So
That's it.
did we use the RAG technique right away?
No, we didn't. Sorry about that, but we learn about this quite later. So at the beginning, we start with something that we are already doing for our customers nowadays. When a user poses a question, we are using a public search API to look in the internet for the articles, OutSystems articles, that can potentially answer the customer question. Now the AI starts his whole. So we are using the content of those articles to build a prompt that will interact with the model. And after, we add the generated AI reply in our intern tickets, and we ask our agents to give us feedback about the accuracy of the reply.
Okay, that seems like a good solution. How did it went?
Not super good. We understood that the replies were not helpful enough to avoid the need of a support ticket.
Okay, so this is not a good solution. What did we do next?
We research, because we are always researching. So we research, and we came up with the RAG technique solution. And to use that, we did a pre-process, a data pre-process. And for each OutSystems public article, we have created and stored its corresponding embedding in vector database, Pinecone in our case.
Okay, so now Pinecone is like the OutSystems public articles repository.
Yes, it's like a big encyclopedia.
Okay, so what did we do with that encyclopedia?
Now, we rely on this encyclopedia to look for vectors, articles, that can potentially correspond or reply to the customer questions.
Okay, so after that, the solution is the same, right? You have an answer from the AI using embeddings, like Joanna explained, the vectors. The agent will analyze the answer and give feedback about the answer that the AI provided. So I think that this is pretty good, right?
Looks like, and it was pretty good actually. And I want to share with you guys the OutSystems flow that represents all of the things that we are saying, because probably many of you are OutSystems developers like me and João, so this is make all of sense. And in here, you can see that we are using a public search API to look for the articles. And in the right side, you can see that we have made a small change. We are now using two different APIs, the one that is responsible for transforming the customer question into its corresponding embedding, and then we are using Pinecone API to look for the vectors that can potentially answer to the customer question. And don't forget, we did a data pre-process, so we know that each vector corresponds to an OutSystems article. So at the end, the rest of the flow is the same. We are using the content of those articles to build a prompt that will interact with the models.
Okay, and then the agent gives the feedback and blah, blah, blah. You already heard it, right? So it was really small changes from one solution to the other. I think the audience may be wondering how long did all of this took?
So that's a really interesting part here. Our first flow went to production at the end of our first week working together. And our second approach went live at the end of our third week. So as you can see, it was really, really easy and fast for us to do this with OutSystems, especially because, as you might know, I hope you know, OutSystems is a great platform that can usually abstract complexity for us, especially when you are integrating with REST APIs.
Exactly. And we mentioned at the beginning the first solution was not good enough. Joanna, maybe we can share the results of the second solution also?
Let's share that big results. So nowadays, we are having a percentage of good replies around 55%. This means that in 55% of the times, we can give a good answer to our customers.
Okay, so now we are working like in two waves. We have the AI creating an answer for the user. The agent is looking into the answer, giving feedback, maybe using that answer to reply directly. 55% of the times they use it, and they can also improve that productivity because they don't need to search for answers because they are already there.
That's the most amazing part. It's like a win-win. You
Exactly.
can double the productivity of your agents, of our agents. This is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And if you look into our results, you can see that we did an improvement in the number of articles that we are providing in the model, in the prompt actually, because during our work, different models became available with less token limitation. So we conclude that as much specific context you provide in the prompt, the better the model will perform. This is really important for you to take in consideration, guys.
Okay, was that the only thing that we did, adding more context to the prompt so the model could answer us correctly?
No, we have also done some prompt engineering. This is the secret here also. Prompt is the way you can guarantee that the model will answer you to the way you want. So we need to do some adjustments. We did some adjustments, and this also improved our results.
Yeah. So this was our work during 4 weeks, and then after that we stopped, right, Joanna?
No, you are not right, sorry. We never stopped. So we are still improving our deflection use case, but at the same time, we are trying to build another content layer. So for that, we are building out system screens, and we are comparing how different models are performing when trying to infer a question and an answer from an old ticket. Because we know that our agents relies on old tickets to answer to our customers. What I'm asking today might be your question in the future, and the old tickets are a good way to look for information, so we want to make old tickets a powerful data source together with our OutSystems articles.
Exactly. And basically, this is a different use case than the ones that you saw before, but actually this use case, it's actually helping the deflection use case, right?
It's helping the deflection use case, but also all different use cases that are appearing in our teams. Because with this, a lot of use cases can appear because we can, in an easy and fast way, integrate with them. And because of that, because we are organized and structured in a way that we believe that it's really fast for other teams to join us and to scale with us, we want to share with you our setup for you to take in consideration. If you look into it, you can see really interesting things here. It's really important for you to validate your use case, to make a call with your legal department to see which personal information can you give to the model or not. You can also set up your metrics to understand your results. And two really important things here is you should build some OutSystem screens to play with them, and also we want to share with you later our foundation setup.
Yes, but let's go a little deeper into our playground. This is an OutSystems playground that we built. This is available for our teams to use. This is the way that they test the AI, different models, so they can interact with it, see how it works, test if the AI is giving answers correctly to them, validating their use cases and so on. And actually, it's very helpful to do some prompt engineering because it's available for them to interact with the models that they have. And let's go through prompt engineering a little bit. We talked about prompt a lot. Don't mind reading everything that's on the screen. It's not really important. The important part is the message that is on the top. I'm asking the model what is a prompt. And the model is giving me a very generic answer here.
But you should be more specific.
Exactly. So here is the same prompt, but with a more specific context. So I ask it to give me an answer regarding a prompt in the large language model's context. So it gave me a better answer regarding that context.
You can even give instructions to the model, and he doesn't complain.
Exactly. So you can give instructions to the model to answer it differently. Maybe you want less words than the ones previous because the answer was really long. You didn't read it, right?
And you can also play with the model, play with the tone of the model.
Yes, that's a cool thing to do. So you can actually ask the model to answer you in a specific tone. So imagine that you have a customer-facing application and you are reaching Halloween. Maybe you want the model to answer you in a spooky way, right? So you can do that.
So prompt engineering has all other things that we've talked to you about. We have another super interesting thing to share with you. As we have mentioned from the beginning, we started together with some more people that are around working with this. But we are now a lot of different people working different use cases. And for for other teams to quickly integrate with us, with our knowledge, we built, and we are building actually, a really nice setup that we want to share.
And let's share that foundation setup. So the
Our
foundation,
secret.
yeah, our secret. So the foundation is what is in the middle, the orchestration part. This is actually what teams are using to quickly integrate with AI. So for you to have an idea, the work that we did in 4 weeks took the next team 1 week to do, and less than 1 week actually. So this is really the secret part of it. It's an orchestration where you can, and let me go quickly through it, you can have your contextual database wherever they are, using the orchestration to do the embedding process and store those embeddings in the vector database. You can have multiple applications going through the orchestration, interacting with different models, and you can actually have some prompt templates to accelerate teams when they want to interact with the models. All of this is done using APIs. So as Rainer mentioned before, APIs is really easy to integrate with OutSystems, so the teams were able to do this very quickly, easy and fast.
Yes, really easy and fast. And to finalize, we want to share with you some keynotes that you must remember tomorrow, you should remember tomorrow, if you want to start working with these within your organization. So please don't forget that for us, it was really easy and fast to build all of this. Not only because we are using OutSystems, but because this is low code on top of low code. This is REST APIs, and we know how to use them really well.
Yes, and actually one thing that you should keep in mind, let people play. This is a new technology. People need to learn how to use AI. They need to know the power that AI provides. So build an OutSystems playground for them to play and let them validate their use cases and do some prompt engineering.
And don't forget that there is no off-the-shelf solution. My use case is probably different from your use case. So you should get together with your management groups and understand how the AI can also reshape your future.
Yes. Also, keep in mind there are some technical limitations, the token limitations. Actually, the playground is also very good for that because people will interact, they will see the limitations, maybe readjust the prompt or readjust the solution. So do this, it's very easy to do, and let people play.
Don't forget that it's really important to make informed decisions, so we should do a week-over-week analysis. It's really important for you to make informed decisions, as I told you, so keep your eyes close to your progress.
Yes, and you can only make informed decisions if you measure and report. So at the beginning, set what you want to measure, do the week-by-week reporting, and then analyze that data and decide where to go next.
And if your use case is like ours, that we need to have specific context stored somewhere in vector database, don't forget to start designing your content layer. As much powerful data you have inside it, the better the model will perform. So start right now designing it.
Yes, and finally, LLMs need time. They need time to process your prompts. They need time to generate an answer. So if you are thinking of creating a customer-facing application, you need to take in consideration that the LLMs need time and you provide a user experience that is good for your users. So basically, this was our journey, a 4-week journey that's still ongoing. We are still developing. Other use cases are coming from other teams. I hope you all enjoyed the session. Maybe you've learned something. Hopefully, you are inspired to do anything with what we show here. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Don't forget, there is no need for you to be another Joanna panicking, so try it out, guys.
Thank you.
I was just wondering if I can ask the first question. Was this infamous Tiago, I don't know if he's around, but
I don't know.
was he happy?
Tiago, are you happy?
Very happy. Thank you. By the way, they're not for sale, huh? So you can't grab them. They can help everyone, but they're not for sale. But rest assured that if you have any monsters in your organization like myself, that people like Joan and João will be able to solve the problem very easily. So they did an amazing job and really fast, faster than we actually ever expected.
Okay, so first of all, thanks for the session. It was great. I have a question about the vector database. That it's basically, right now you are relying on the OutSystems information, right? But you are thinking on doing this based on tickets, but the tickets could be old and could be have information that it's no longer actual, right? So do you think in a way of cleaning the database if are already there data that is no more needed, or in the other end, how you select data to add to the vector database?
That's a really interesting question, actually. We are still in the beginning of part of that, so we are understanding how the model could perform, or can perform, actually. But we know that all that things, so we are planning to not grab all tickets, like maybe 2 years ago it's not good enough to use it. And we, of course, need to have maybe a mechanism to someone understand what is no longer up to date. And of course, we are planning to do that. It's in our minds, and you need to be careful with that. And also, you should also validate somehow how the model is performing, because it can depend on the... Actually, some tickets can have really hard information from the model to understand. So you need to have all of that in consideration. But as I said, and João, this is an exploratory phase, and you need to fail to then get back with great solutions. But we are, of course, keeping our eyes on that.
And just to add to what Joanna said, on your organization you have people that understand the problems, right? So use them. If the AI is generating or inferring questions and answers, make them validate if the answers are correct, and discard what is not correct, or maybe understand why the model is answered that way, and use only the good answers. So all of us will still be needed. The AI is not replacing us, right? And maybe we are using people in a different way. So validating if the data is good or not, and then use it on the vector database.
One question regarding the tickets information. Some tickets can have some personal information, EP numbers, whatsoever. Yes. So how do you manage, or do you intend to clean those data or mask those data, or for instance, some information that is only on the scope of that clearly because it has a specific implementation?
We need to do an anonymization process for that. We need to understand what is PII, and then run some process to remove all of that information from the tickets before you use it in the models. But PII differs from company to company, so each company is different, and we need to understand.
Yeah, that's one of the points on our team setup, if you remember. We had that check with your legal. So that's one thing that you should do. So go with your legal department, see what you can or cannot provide to the models, and then start by understanding what you need to do. We are still thinking about how we can do some anonymization for some use cases, but we are still not there, so we are working on it.
You had some, you showed some groups of use cases, and the main one you discussed today was deflection.
Yes.
What kind of use cases do you see also arising with OutSystems customers?
Okay, so that's a tricky part because we cannot reveal everything that we are doing, right? But just think about what your organization does, and what do you think it's more relevant for the AI to help you? You saw that those large language models are good to summarize. Maybe you want to summarize some calls, some long meetings.
Write some documentation.
Exactly. So just
understand a pattern from a call.
Yeah.
In first feelings also. Thank you, Daniela.
There's a lot of possibilities. Just try and think outside the box. Hope it helps you in somehow.
Also.
Have you any cases where you went over the limit of the tokens? With too much information to be sent on that request? How do you deal with this, and how do you improve the process to have less tokens?
Yes, we had some problems with that, because for embeddings API, the token limitation is 2048 tokens.
Yeah.
So yeah, and for the models, the problem is now being overcome with the latest models that are available. But chunking is the right word for that. It's what you need to do is chunking. So you need to cut your information into meaningful pieces, and you need to store those pieces instead of store the whole articles. And then when you fetch the information from Pinecone, you need to concatenate all that information.
Yeah.
But chunking is the word there. We didn't have time to show you that. But for the ones who are interested, you can always do some chunking in your information.
All right. Thank you so much. One last round of applause for João and Joana.
Thank you.